The governor of Indiana says he is working to fix a controversial religious freedom law that some believe allows for discrimination against gays and lesbians. And the governor of Arkansas says he will not sign a similar bill until it's been amended. Joining us now with more on this is CBS News legal analyst Rikki Klieman. Rikki, always good to see you.
Thank you.
Let's just take this back for a second, if we can, because a lot of this started with the federal government's Religious Freedom Restoration Act in 1993. What was that all about?
This was an act that happened during President Clinton's time, and it was an act that certainly was meant to be helpful. It was meant to be inclusive and have people be able, in groups, to be able to exercise their religious freedom, to which they are entitled under the First Amendment of our Constitution. Let me give you a couple of really practical, simple examples. For example, the Amish are not supposed to be using electricity. And at night, there was a public safety problem if they were with their wagons without any lights. So what was the accommodation made under the religious freedom law is really to allow them to use lanterns. Easy example up to the present day. If you have, say, a Muslim, devout Orthodox Jew, who would have facial hair, but yet some occupations, again, such as a police department, might say that that might interfere with an officer's safety, but yet they made accommodations for those religious groups.
So how did we get from there to where we are in Indiana and Arkansas?
What happened was at some point the United States Supreme Court said the federal law that had been passed back in 1993 did not apply to the states. It was simply for the federal government. So what happened was states said, we like this law. This is a really good law. So we're going to pass our own. There was a case in New Mexico. In New Mexico, there was a woman who was a wedding photographer. She held out her services to be able to be hired to photograph weddings. A gay couple hires her. She says, I do not want to do your wedding because you are not a man and a woman. They sue her for violating their civil rights. She uses the New Mexico law to say, I have a right, in the right of my free exercise of religion, to not service you as a gay couple. She loses in New Mexico. Why? Because she is not the government. She was a private person or a private business.
So what is the language or the phrasing at issue in the Indiana law?
The Indiana law did a specific thing. It said in its carefully written language, if you are an individual and a business is considered the same as an individual, you may use this law, whether or not the government is a party, to have it as a defense or a claim in a civil rights suit. That's what changed.
And the Arkansas bill is similar.
The Arkansas bill is similar to the Indiana bill. There is the coincidence that once gay marriage was said by the federal courts to become legal in Indiana, the people, or some people, who worked against gay marriage in Indiana were the same people who worked on this new law in Indiana. And so the thought was, which social media and the media then fed upon, was that the law was meant specifically to go against gay people and deprive them of rights.
So the question now is the fix. What fixes might be made?
Well, the easiest fix, of course, is to just simply repeal it. But since that does not seem to be what they are looking for, they're looking to, in essence, amend it or to clarify the language. There is going to have to be language in either of these bills that specifically says that this bill cannot be used to discriminate against a select group. It may have to even say, in a state like Indiana, which does not have an anti-discrimination law that protects gay people, it may even have to say that it cannot be used in a way to discriminate against gay and lesbians. Jeff, keep in mind one more thing. We're not only talking about services here. If you look at the ultimate reach of these bills, we could be talking about accommodations, that is, hotels. We could be talking about housing. This could be taking us back 50 years, even if it's not the intent. And remember that in all these other states, these bills have lived very happily, very quietly for a long, long time.
More legal matters for us to discuss in the future, and we look forward to it. Rikki, thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. Good to be with you.